Hello, Elizabeth. Hello, Lynn. Hello, David. We missed you last time, huh?
And yeah, it was not an easy day for me. So.
I know you mentioned to me. I need to say that you were good with your questions, you know. Okay. Om Sadashiva Samarambam Shankarya Sharya Madhyamam Madasharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Ishvaro Atmeti Mochi Veda Vibhagine Yom Abda Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Tava Vedanta Sedanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanantam Satguru Pranatoshmaham Om Shanti 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 Om. Namaste. Welcome to our Q&A session on Viveka Chudamani, or any other questions related to self-inquiry and self-knowledge. I guess I haven't received, I believe I haven't received any emails, right?
No, I have one to start, but I'm happy to allow others to start. So.
Thank you.
All right. Do you want me to ask?
Well, I understood you say that you are going to begin. I said thank you. Maybe I misheard.
No, I meant that others could, I didn't want to, I get plenty of time to ask my questions, so I'm giving space. So when you talked on Monday, I might, the takeaway that from the talk when I listened to it is, you use shame a lot, or shame, or I think guilt, as examples of emotions that and one of the benefits of Vedanta or of knowledge of the self is that you don't have to dwell, you shouldn't dwell in shame or guilt. And so I guess my question is that generally true across for all emotions? So, I mean, emotions can be good, bad. I mean, they're in the whole range. And do you feel it's a benefit of Vedanta that you don't have to dwell in emotions? I mean, they come and they go. And is that the point that of that particular verse, that emotions come and go, and that's a benefit, that you don't dwell in them? And it seems like, there are a lot of really good emotions too, and it seems like it's nice to dwell in those at times, as well. So my question is just, dealing with emotions, and how are emotions, and how you experience them, how do you feel that's a benefit from Vedanta? So
yeah, that's a very nice question.
Maybe others.
So the question is like, so if Vedanta self-knowledge, has the potential to somehow erase those emotions of feeling shameful, a shame when you don't succeed, when you don't accomplish whatsoever endeavor, when you feel like, oh, I fell short, and I'm inadequate, I'm insufficient, and I'm not good enough, and so Vedanta is going to erase all of that. And it's going to erase as well the other, how you say, extreme of the pendulum, which is like, oh, I'm the greatest, I'm the biggest achiever, and all of that's going to go, because both ends, these notions, you know, of being shameful, or the notion, or the feeling, the emotion of pride, and being very, you know, uh, this huge ego that says, yes, I can do anything, I can make anything, you know, I'm very successful, and I have the power to make things happen. This is also ignorance, you know. It feels as if it's a more pleasant sort of ignorance, but in the end of the day, both are ignorance, you know. So both thoughts, every thought is associated with a feeling, an emotion. Every thought is going to bring with it a feel to it. If you feel like, oh, I'm so shameful, I'm so ashamed of myself, I'm so guilty, and so, you're gonna feel those thoughts. If you feel like, oh, I'm the greatest person, I'm the most successful, I'm the richest, the most beautiful, the most clever, and so on, you're gonna experience, let me admit or not, you're gonna experience some high as well, you know, but that high is gonna crash, because as long as you define yourself by your characteristics, your achievements, you know, you are going to crash, because you can't always get what you want. You can't always succeed. After all, you're gonna fail. When you fail, and then you're gonna feel like, oh, again, you know, I mean, there are some people bigger, higher, better than me, and bigger achievers, and again, I'm looking down at myself. Whether I look up, I look down, you know, I'm going to be in a difficult position, because you know, I'm subject to a lot of different variations that I have no control. I'm defining myself by my circumstance, my achievements in this case, you know. So we say that self-knowledge erases most of those emotions that are linked with our interaction with our objects, our desires. So all these emotions about getting what I want, or not getting what I want, or avoiding what we don't want, or being crushed by something we don't, all these emotions, they are going to develop to become a sort of negative, you know, attitude, a negative feel, a negative, you know, samskara, or attitude, overall attitude, you know, that all the time feeling like, oh my God, you know, I'm not doing a good job, and so on, or going through the ups and downs. All of this is disturbing. So Vedanta says that it's going to erase those negative feelings you have about yourself, and it's going to erase those positive feelings about yourself, which are related to the objects presented by Ishvara in Mithya again and again. I'm defining myself by the means of my interaction with these objects. You understand? Vedanta says, no, all of that have to go. But it does not mean to say that you're going to be living a life totally deprived of emotions, but you're going to have a different level of emotion. That's where we say, Ramji likes to say that converting your emotions into devotion. You understand? So converting your emotions into devotions, you are no longer feeling those thoughts which relates to my likes and dislikes, you know, to the degree that they are abstracted, or they are not abstracted, or they are achieved or not achieved, gain or not gain. Those emotions are very disturbing. Even those high of getting what you want is disturbing, because you are up, you start coming down. You understand? And the mind gets agitated with the next achievement that the thought process presents to the jiva, who is never satisfied by the means of gaining or avoiding things, you know? So Vedanta says, so you have to forget about defining yourself and experience all this realm of emotions associated with the thoughts of the object. And you have to understand your true nature, understand the nature of Ishvara, and then live a life in which your emotions are gradually converted in devotion. Devotion is an attitude of love and appreciation towards the field, in spite of all difficulties that we we confront ourselves with, you know, that we engage with the field with. There will be difficult. Difficult is that things are not going to be easy. There will be obstructions to my achievements, my goals, and so on. Circumstances may be favorable, but a lot of the time they're unfavorable. But if we understand karma and dharma, and then we begin developing that attitude of love and appreciation for life as it is, you understand? I like this expression, this American expression, as it is. When I lived my 15 years there, a lot of things that you buy, especially used things, and they disclose it up front as it is. No complaints are allowed. You understand? So life presents itself as it is, and you know, we should understand that the complaints do not really apply. It's not a good attitude to complain. So, and then we can have a relationship with the object, with life as it unfolds before our eyes, an attitude of love, appreciation, devotion, because we know that this is our Prarabdha karma, and I take it as it is, knowing that there is a lesson behind every circumstance, every situation, every, you know, every karma. So it's there is a refinement that is often put as a conversion of our human emotions relate to our vasanas, our likes and dislikes, wants and aversions, you know. So those emotions, they have to be somehow converted gradually into an emotion, a much higher emotion, which is love, appreciation, devotion, an attitude of contribution, of dedication, of seeing Ishvara in the field of interaction, you know, the Dharma field. And then we develop this higher sort of emotion, which is a spiritual emotion, okay? Which is the emotion mentioned in the scriptures of Karma Yoga. So in last class, we were talking about not experience shame. Why? Because you feel ashamed to the extent that you are totally identified as the doer. And then if you believe that this is my thought, this is my action, and I am doing this, and I am fully responsible for the results of my doings. If we have this narrow-minded view of the reality of Mithya, you know, if we have this very narrow-minded view, we think that I, mine, and I'm the one in control, and I'm thinking my thought, I'm the author, I'm the originator of my thought. If we have that sort of delusion, and then what's going to happen? We're going to be all the time suffering either praise or what's that word of last class? Emulation, Lynn? Elation. Or we'll feel happy about ourselves, you know, or we'll feel crushed. You know, I'm going to be feeling shame or pride, let's say, you know, oh, look at me, you know, I got it. Or I'm going to feel ashamed, you know, small, inadequate, insufficient, and so on. So we experience these things because we are totally identified as the ego doer. I and mine, I the doer, I the thinker, I'm the author of my thoughts. And, you know, if there's this identification being very, very hard and fast and solid as the ego, you know, that is going to produce those feelings of shame and pride, let's say. I don't know if pride is the best antonymous or opposite of shame. You understand? So we're gonna be experiencing anything within that range of total inadequacy and shame, and then pride, and you know. So we're gonna be experiencing, but the degree that this identification with the body mind and its vasanas and its likes and wants and objects of desire, to the degree that that sense of ego, doership, identification gradually fades. How it fades? It fades by the understanding, by assimilating the understanding of Ishvara as the totality of all factors, that which brings about the results of all our efforts, you understand? So we develop that understanding, that vision, and then that vision is going to favor our qualifications so that we can understand the ultimate truth, which is everything is only consciousness and I am that consciousness. And that brings about another layer of freedom from mental agitation, you understand? So there's no way around that. So those disturbing or negative emotions, they are going to show up for as long as we are firmly identified with our vasanas, our likes and dislikes. When we understand the Ishvara, we understand Dharma, Karma, and then slowly that is going to have less and less grip over our attitudes, our emotions, you understand? Our thought process. And then we start seeing everything, and those emotions of frustration, irritation, anger, every time, you know, our desires obstruct, those slowly, gradually, they are converted into appreciation, love, devotion, so to speak, you know.
So what I'm writing down is, you know, Vedanta's benefit of Vedanta is that it provides the means to use inquiry to convert emotions to the higher level of devotion, resulting in a more sattvic lifestyle. So that we're living a more solid or a more consistent and more sattvic type lifestyle. So I'm thinking in terms of like for so many, life is like a roller coaster. It has this highs and lows to it. It's up and down, up and down. And what we're trying to do is really kind of converting to the kiddie coaster. So we're still going to have ups and downs, but they're going to be they'll be a lot smoother and a lot easier to accommodate. And so that's the benefit of Vedanta.
Yeah.
Is
The
that,
Buddhists,
you know, and it means that, you know, the means to use inquiry to do that, right?
yeah. So the Buddhists,
discipline that we need.
the Buddhists refer to this as mental, emotional equanimity. You know, you are not going through these ups and downs, extreme ups and downs. So you are more like in the middle way. You know, so
yeah, the middle way.
Paramarthananda, for the same kind of mental condition, which is a natural byproduct for the yoni. Paramarthananda calls it often the mental emotional strength or balance, you know. So you are mentally, emotionally balanced. Why? Because your emotions are not subject to what the field of objects present to you, you know. It's not linked to getting what you want and not and avoiding what you not want, because you understood the game, you understood the system. So this is the same thing, you know. This sattvic mind, mental condition, as you put, you know, is the byproduct of this understanding about the nature of mithya and my nature is satya, so that I'm no longer being operated by my likes and dislikes. My vasanas all the time create mental disturbance. And then the mind becomes sattvic. Yeah, it becomes sattvic because my emotions were converted into devotion, love, appreciation. But how did I turn my samsaric emotions, you know, into devotion? By a spiritual process, you know, based on knowledge, understanding the natures controlling the human experience, you know. So we need to understand this universal fundamental ignorance. And then the deeper we understand it, the more we can offset it by this very understanding of its mechanics, you know. We understand the mechanic, how it works, how it brings about unhappiness to us and to others. Yeah? And then once we get it, only then we have the strength, the power, the willpower to offset or to obstruct these negative tendencies, you know, that creates mental instability, disturbance. You understand, David? It's very simple. We need to get it clear.
Yeah.
Mechanic, the system, the dynamic, how it happens, why we experience mental disturbance.
And I think what we're saying too, I mean, we're going to continue to, mythia is always going to be there. So, I mean, it's there. So we're going to experience emotions. We're going to have emotions, positive, negative, whatever they are, we're going to have them. It's really about mitigating them and as you talked about converting, or as Ramji said, but you converting, emotions to devotions. And so it's just that process of going through. So it's just it's an ongoing type of thing. And again, I'm just thinking that the benefit of Vedanta is that it gives us a way, or provides a means to deal with these emotions that are going to occur. And
Yeah.
I guess we could hope that eventually we get to the point that we don't experience quite the high highs or the low lows, and that we really, we start to narrow the band, if you will.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And,
last class we spoke a little bit about that. We don't want to experience the peaks, and we don't want to experience the lows. We want to experience mental stability, which is called peace. And peace, one of the verses we did last time, and peace is happiness. The true happiness is peace, shanti, mental balance, equanimity, so that you can enjoy your nature, which is of the nature of fullness and completion, which brings a sense to the mind of the young, a sense of happiness, joy, and security, So it's a
yeah.
sort. It's true happiness is peace. It's not those highs or those lows. You want to get rid of both, actually,
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, David.
I will say I'm experiencing delays in or let's say your communication is not continuous. It's breaking up occasionally, just slight little freezes. That's what I'm experiencing, but I've got very inconsistent internet right now too. So,
Lynn, are you listening well to me? Are you getting my words, Lynn?
Yes, there is a little, gap here and there.
Yeah.
But I think maybe that's why we're, yeah.
Yeah.
If we
I was expecting it. We had a lot of storms. The internet has been unstable today. I was expecting we could find some difficulty here. I'm glad that we are being able to communicate.
Yeah. I just know that
I have two servers. I have two servers now, and it's helping me a lot, because sometimes one is off and then I bring the other one.
Yeah. And okay. I know you're trying to get this thing set, so I just trying to give you that feedback. That's all.
Yeah.
And so.
Thank you. I see the note here that the internet, when it's unstable, it shows me, and then I pause a little bit to give time for the voice to, like, that gap to be, Okay, anybody else? Claudio?
Lynn had something.
Lynn?
Yeah, I was thinking about, we've started talking about Jivan Mukta, and this is, sort of a description about that way of living, I guess, for the Jiva. And seems to me, I keep thinking when I hear all this, that it's sort of describing my idea of the ideal karma yogi. That basically a karma yogi just understands Ishvara so well, and that it's just like a love affair, and so there wouldn't be any blame or shame or pride, or because it's all just Ishvara. So that's my idea of a karma yogi. Am I missing something, or is there more for that you could help me open up a bit?
No, the understanding is absolutely correct. And that's why Vedanta presents Karma Yoga. Can you hear?
It's very challenging right now, Arlinda.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Okay. We keep trying. I don't want to go to the other one. I have two providers. I don't want to change the other because I'm afraid it may interrupt the video. And this one was stronger this morning, recently here. Before, I was afraid we were not going to make this class today. So you understand is correct, Lynn. Okay, it's correct. So Karma Yoga is one of the greatest natural pacifiers of the mind, you understand? Or to produce this devotion, to convert those human emotions that basically I want what I want and I don't want. Those emotions, they can be converted into this love, devotion, appreciation for life as it is. So Karma Yoga does that by helping us to understand Ishvara and Jagata and the Jiva and the relationship and the logic, the rationale on why it's useless to get all agitated about having my likes and dislikes met. And then we understand the rationale, and slowly and gradually we develop this feeling, this emotional relationship with the field as Ishvara, this miracle of life. We develop a love, appreciative, devotional relationship. So that is the condition of the yoni, because the yoni is the one who has a complete knowledge, the knowledge I am Satya, and the knowledge I understand Mithya, and I know how to behave in Mithya. You understand? So you said that you understand when we look into the description of the yoni, you look at a perfect karma yogi, and that is correct. You understand? A yani should be an example of a karma yogi, because a yani should have the both knowledge, the ultimate knowledge. Everything is Brahman, everything is consciousness, and the other knowledge, that here in this appearance order reality, everything is God, everything is Ishvara. And I know that I'm an integral part of Ishvara, and I know my relationship between myself and Ishvara as the field, as Jagat, so that I can keep a righteous and balanced and life that is conducive to more and more clarity of mind, sattva, and self-knowledge. So it's absolutely correct. Kami Yoga is not the end, it's a means. But once we come to the end, the yani should be an example of a Kami Yoga, let's put it that way.
Thank you. It's beautiful. Just what I was thinking.
Thank you. I can see that your understanding becomes so more and more clear and clear and clear. That's very nice. How are you doing, Karen?
Yes, well, I think you explained it more, but I was at first thinking, I was thinking of love as an emotion, gratitude, but feeling the love, as an emotion, not necessarily like, all this pride and I'm great and wonderful, but just being, bathing in the love, just of looking at your surroundings but that's still like an emotion.
Well, I mean,
Would you agree with?
we cannot escape emotions. As David said, you cannot escape emotion, but you can have very, very low or gross emotions, or you can have very, very fine, sublime emotions, you understand? So when we talk about love, I often prefer to use the word appreciation, you understand? Devotion is more like appreciation for life as it is, understanding this order, this perfect, beautiful, intelligent order, which provides us with this field in which we can process our karmas and so on, and grow and evolve and be out of here, so to speak, you understand? So a lot of the times people confuse emotion with attachment. Huh? So emotion is not a need for the other that a lot of the time is covered up by words that say, oh, I love you so much. Right? You heard me? You heard me, Karen?
Sorry, it's really declining, Arlindo, the
Okay,
quality.
and then hold in there. I'm gonna try to change into the other provider, okay? I think it's not gonna drop.